3. According to a Harvard University study from 2018, 10.9 million renters, or 1 in 4 renters, spent more than half of their income on housing. Regrettably, the number of households with severe housing burdens rose by 155,000 in 2018. Families in the lowest income bracket spend the majority of their budgets on rent. This means that despite the slight declines from the prior year, there has only been an improvement of 483,000 homes overall since its peak in 2014. More than 72% of renters with annual incomes under $15,000 had significant financial burdens. 2. According to data from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Luis, the median home price reached a new high of $4,400 in the second quarter of 2022, surpassing the $400,000 mark for the first time ever. A low-wage worker with a wage of $7.25 per hour would never be able to afford a house to live in. 1. The U.S. Labor Department reports that on average in 2021, 3/4 of all household income was spent on absolute necessities such as housing, transportation, food, personal insurance, and health care. Because they spend a larger portion of their income on essentials, low-income families' circumstances are made worse by inflation. For instance, households in the lowest 20% of income bracket spent 41.6% of their total spending on housing, compared to households in the highest 20%, who spent only 30%. Due to recent economic trends, average American households have little to no money left over to invest in higher education, better health care, and child care, all of which are necessary for the future growth of a healthy and prosperous citizen. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, click the like button, and then write your comments about it below. Every year since the end of the 1970s, the wealth of middle-class families has been vanishing, putting an end to the American dream. For example, various studies show that before the Great Recession in 2007, the middle 60% of American households had an average income of over $7,600 US. However, if inequality had not increased, their average income would have been $9,400 US, 23% higher, or nearly $18,000 more. High inflation and economic instability caused by the government's criminal negligence brought the country to where we are now. Since everything has become significantly more expensive, it is now inconceivable to say that the income of one breadwinner in a household can afford to pay for a mortgage, rent, food, and education. However, the real issue is that the next recession is looming, and almost nothing has been done to prepare for a difficult time, while the condition of the economy is getting worse. New problems like the banking crisis, housing sector crash, and retail industry collapse emerge. So without further ado, let's get started with the first of 15 facts that demonstrate the collapse of the American household economy. Before we get to the list, though, make sure to subscribing to the channel and activating the notification bell so that you can always stay up to date on America's most crucial economic issues. 15. Families lack emergency resources. Over half of Americans, or 53%, do not have an emergency fund, according to a recent poll by CNBC and Momentum. For those who do have an emergency fund intended to help during unforeseen circumstances, this percentage rises significantly to 74% for those with household incomes below $50,000 annually, and about 40% have saved less than $10,000 USD for this purpose. 14. Youth workforce is declining due to aging population. According to recent research, the U.S. is facing a significant loss of talent in the infrastructure workforce. OECD and Moody predict that by 2029, the share of the working-age population in the U.S. will drop to 61.3%. In addition, Moody estimates that around 1.4 million American workers retired, resulting in a 70% decline in labor force participation since the end of 2019. 13. House until debt starts to rise alarmingly quickly. According to a new analysis by NerdWallet, American households owe a total of $16.5 trillion, a rise of 7.65%. As of last year, the average American family had about $222,000 in mortgage debt, $17,000 in credit card debt, and $30,000 in auto loans. 12. Medical debt is the main cause of bankruptcy in the United States, with research indicating that it accounts for more than 60% of bankruptcies, and that more than 2 million people have negative effects as a result of their medical debt. 11. The young generation is heavily burdened by student loan debt. The amount owed on student loans in the U.S. is $1.75 trillion. The average student loan debt rose by 45% between 2006 and 2016, according to McKinsey. After controlling for inflation over the same time period, sticker prices grew by 22%, while the weighted average cost of attendance increased by 14%. 10. The wealth gap between families with high salaries and those with lower or moderate incomes has grown dramatically in recent years, with only those in the higher income bracket experiencing a gain, with a median increase of 33% between 2001 and 2016. Income discrepancies are increasing. In contrast, lower-income families lost 45% of their wealth, while middle-class families saw a decrease of 20% in their median net worth. In 2016, the wealth of upper-class families was staggeringly 7.4 times greater than that of middle-class families, and 75 times greater than that of lower-class families. 9. According to a research by the Brookings Institution, tens of millions of Americans are low-age employees. More than 53 million Americans, or 44% of workers aged 18 to 64, are paid poor hourly earnings. 56% of these people are between the ages of 25 and 50, which is also the age group that is most likely to be raising children at 43%. 8. For instance, childcare in America is becoming more expensive. According to Childcare Aware, nearly 9,000 childcare centers closed between December 2019 and March 2021, leaving many parents with wait lists that are at least 2 years long. There has also been an increase in demand for nannies and babysitters as parenthesis. According to Care.com, about half of families said they spend more than 20% of their household income on childcare, and 72% reported spending 10% or more. 7. According to the USDA, food insecurity affects millions of households in the United States, with rural areas, families with children, and communities of color being disproportionately affected by feeding issues. More than 33 million people, including 5 million children, are food insecure. According to statistics provided by America, 72% of families receiving assistance from its affiliated food banks had annual household incomes of just over $9,000 or less, which is at or below the federal poverty level. As a result, they find it difficult to provide enough food for their households. 6. According to the most recent report from the United States Census Bureau, in January 2021, 37.9 million Americans, or 11.6% of the entire population, were living in poverty. It is surprising to note that, despite ranking as the world's richest country in terms of GDP, poverty still exists in America. 5. Families were forced to restrict their budgets as a result of the skyrocketing cost of food. More current data reveals that, in April, the cost of both food consumed at home and away from home increased by over 7% from the previous year. Oils and fats, breakfast foods, and baked goods. The recent economic downturn had the greatest impact on dairy products and poultry, with eggs seeing the largest increase in food prices between December 2021 and December 2022. Fats and oils came in second with a price increase of over 23%, while dairy products saw a price increase of over 15%. 4. The young generation cannot afford a home, which is a cornerstone of economic stability. According to a 2019 Fannie Mae survey, fewer millennials are purchasing homes than in previous generations. 55% of millennials and older people think it's not financially realistic to acquire a home. The survey identified the main causes of this attitude as being the high cost of mortgages, tougher lending guidelines, and personal financial concerns.